Hey everyone, good afternoon. Thank you for choosing to listen to the podcast today. And you know why you picked a good day? Because we're talking about something really special. It's about things that concern women, and that's menopause. And we have two experts today who will be discussing on this topic. The one is the founder and CEO of a platform dedicated in supporting women in menopause and premenopause stage. And we also have the CEO and founder of a health and wellness company based in Kuwait called Tariq Pro. So I'm going to allow them to talk a little bit about what they do before we get into the show proper. So, Miss Rita, go ahead.
Okay. All right. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Yinka Aderoju, and I'm the founder of Menno Haven. Menno Haven is a social platform where perimenopausal and menopausal women are encouraged to come together and learn about this life stage, to share their symptoms, to get advice about how to deal with their symptoms, and so it's safe haven, and that's why we're trying to limit it to women, because that way women can be open and able to share, their what they're going through basically, and that's why it's a haven. That's why there's that haven in the name of the company, the brand. So it's what it is women can come there and get information about the symptoms and how to deal with it, and then on the platform as well, we will put women in contact. We will connect women with wellness experts that can actually help them with, that life stage. Yeah.
Greetings, everyone. My name is Sharice Ijawari. I am a lifestyle medicine nutrition consultant and gut health practitioner. I am the CEO of Caring Health, which is a health and wellness organization that helps with reversing ailments, educating, enlightening, and helping people towards wellness.
Okay. Thank you for being a guest on the show.
Thank you.
So let me start with you, Miss Rita. What was one of the things that surprised you the most when you reached menopause stage?
Okay. I think the thing that surprised me the most is the fact that suddenly I have those hot flushes. I just find, I'm saying they're hot flushes now. It wasn't something that I knew. I just realized that suddenly I just will start sweating, no matter where I am. I might be in a really cold room where everybody else is saying, "Can we have a jacket?" And I'll just find myself, and the surprising thing about it is not even just the sweating, it's the fact that you can't control it. It just rises up within you, and then suddenly you break out in the sweat.
Wow.
Yeah.
And what do you think you wish you had known before you reached breastfeeding?
For one, I wish I had known that if I was to exercise a bit more, that I might not have had that big hot flushes. I found out later that exercise is something that helps with that particular symptom, because you must understand that there are various symptoms that women go through with menopause. I just mentioned that one for about myself.
Okay, and so with zero, this question is for you. Does exercise help all women, or are there some women that will be relieved by exercise and some women that won't be?
Exercise helps all women. And I want to just take us a couple steps backwards, because some people watching may not even realize when menopause starts or what menopause really is. And basically, just want to say that menopause is coming from the root word menstruation, which is just a pause in the menstruation, but a pause for 12 consecutive months. So if you do happen to have your period that may be irregular for a couple months, that means you're perimenopausal. So it may stop 1 month, it may come back. It may stop 2 months, it may come back. And that would be your perimenopause phase that's leading to menopause.
Well, that's great information to have, because I just assumed that everybody knew what menopause was, but not everybody might know.
And some people go into menopause from mid 40s. Sometimes it could be a bit earlier, depending on their history. It could be genetics. It could be because of any ailments they're dealing with. It could be autoimmune disorder. But usually the regular age is mid 40s to mid 50s. Like I met a lady couple of weeks ago, and she was 56. She was still having her periods regular.
Wow.
Interesting. Yes.
And does it affect women's emotions as we say it does? Because now when a woman in the office reacts suddenly, they'll say, "Oh, she's in that state." But is it really the same for every woman? And does the stages of menopause, whether it's pre or even if you're in full menopause state, affect your emotions as much as they say it does?
It does. And I'll say that when it comes to menopause, the hormonal cycle changes. So you find that your estrogen level drops, progesterone, testosterone, all of this is different versus when you're actually in your regular cycle. So of course, when estrogen drops, it significantly inhibits like your neurotransmitters, which controls your mood. So serotonin is your happy hormone, and that happy hormone is not getting the estrogen that it needs. So it may cause your mood to fluctuate.
And Miss Inka, did you experience similar mood swings when you first noticed that you were in that stage?
Yes, of course, I did. And that, well, I guess that wasn't surprising when you talked about the things that surprised me, because it's actually similar to the kind of mood swings that women have when they menstruate.
Yes.
Exactly. So I just, it was like to just put it down to that. And then later I realized, oh, okay, this was also a symptom of menopause. Maybe I need to say this at this stage. I think I mentioned it before that not all women would have all symptoms, right? That not all women would experience all symptoms. And then even in the variety of symptoms that we can have, women suffer, in different stages. Some are not as severe as others. So some women really have severe symptoms. I remember seeing, I remember seeing on Instagram a woman who was sitting in a park somewhere, and steam was coming off her head.
Literally.
Literally.
Wow.
That's like severe. Do you understand?
That's extreme. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So maybe put that down there.
And so, from your own experience, how did you deal with mood swings if you ever experienced it? And could you attribute it to what you were going through then?
How did I do? Okay, so the other thing I failed to say when I was introducing the platform is that my main target, apart from the age group, are women in the workplace. Okay, so I think you mentioned it, or maybe Sherry said, but the thing about it is that because of those mood swings, employers sometimes cannot understand especially the men, they can't understand what the woman is going through, and then they're like, okay, well, they've started again, all these women, that kind of a thing. But if people are educated, then they know how to basically handle those kinds of mood swings, right? Because even in our younger ages, when we were menstruating, we had the moods and we had to go and work with others.
Yeah.
So it's you saying to yourself, okay, I must remember where I am and just try to control the mood at that period.
And you know what? I even want to say that during this phase of the menopause, that when women are educated, it helps them kind of get into the journey easier, because there are some people who are stigmatized, like
Exactly.
you just think that menopause, that's the end, it's all downhill from here, but really it's not. So it's like if you embrace it and realize that, you know what, this is just the ending of one phase of my life and the beginning of another, and I can get excited about it. I can be like in that self-care mode. Okay, it's all about me now. Let me make sure I do A, B, C, D, E, F, G, so that I don't have all those, the moodiness or the irritability, or I know how to like navigate it. Yeah.
You're very right. Yeah, and then it's, of course, definitely there's a stigmatization, like she said, and so then there's all this mysterious thing about it. Nobody wants to talk about, the fact that because there's some very personal symptoms that women go through. That's the time that you have dryness, and you're not really interested in sex anymore because you're just afraid that it'll be painful and all these other things. So it's difficult. That's why it's a difficult thing to talk about. And that's why this platform is a heaven where, look, we're all women. Let's talk about these symptoms. How did you deal with yours? Oh, this is what I did with mine. So people get information.
Yeah.
Because what we found, I there was an Oprah show where she was saying that she had to go through going to doctors. I mean, they were treating her as if she was sick. And this was just a life stage. This was something that, symptoms of, menopause that could be treated or, addressed with exercise, like we talked about with nutrition, different things like that, So because people they don't know, they also now feel like, oh, I'm sick.
No.
Do you understand?
Mm-hmm.
And we don't want any woman to feel that way again. And that's why this platform is here.
So it's like a community where people can
Exactly.
express themselves,
Right.
get information, and feel safe enough.
Yes.
Okay, good.
To tell it as it is, as into the,
Demystify.
exactly, demystify.
And I think even just as women coming together, empowering each other, letting us feel good about each other makes a difference, because this is not like a new phenomenon. All women will go through it regardless.
Yeah.
However, each woman, as Mrs. Aderoju has pointed out, deals with it differently, and the symptoms may come up at different stages or not at all. They may go through it smoothly, but depending on your physical activity, your nutrition, your hydration, and information that you have helps you go through it, at least. Yeah.
Okay. And Mrs. Aderoju touched on a point that I think is important that we highlight: intimacy. So how do you think women should deal with that aspect and how it affects them?
I think we should definitely look at our lifestyle. It plays a huge role. So one, the nutrition. What are you eating? Are you taking any supplements? What are you not eating or over consuming on? So for example, if you are taking in a lot of processed foods, that actually depletes your nutritional value within the body. So your baseline nutrients, instead of it being here, it may be down here. And these are the things that also helps with bodily functions. So for example, when we speak about dryness, if you're not hydrating enough, if you're drinking alcohol, champagne, and one thing or the other, it actually dehydrates the body. And of course, exercise. So exercising, sleeping well. For some women, one of the menopausal symptoms is insomnia. Yeah, they just cannot sleep.
Yeah, I know that actually happened to me as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it could be a deficiency. It could be a deficiency in magnesium. It could be vitamin D. So when you realize that women come around this period, or they're into perimenopausal or moving into menopause, we just make sure that we give them the right nutrients that they need, the right foods that they need to eat, along the way.
Yeah. For example, I found that when I take a lot of sugar, the sweating is more. Do you understand that symptom of breaking out in the sweat? A lot of them, like I had to stop drinking Coke at some point because I just realized that once, the connection with that. So just even simply stopping to take to your intake or reducing your intake of sugar can help you address that particular symptom.
Yes, absolutely.
As the dreaded middle life weight gain, is attributed to menopause as well.
Yes.
Attributed to menopause.
Yes, you can.
Wow.
So just as Mrs. Aderoju has pointed out, from the foods that you're eating, so if you're taking in processed foods, sugars, a lot of dairy, things that have hormones in them, or zap the nutrients from the body, and you're not exercising, that can actually cause like a midsection, midsection bulge.
Right.
Okay.
But interestingly, though, the menopause affects different women in different ways when it comes to weight some women actually lose weight.
Really?
when they
I've
go
never
into
heard that
menopause.
before.
Oh yeah, some women do lose weight.
I'm sure people will be waiting for
Or
menopause.
what exactly. Some people lose weight, right?
Yes,
So,
some
yeah,
people do.
and I mean, but obviously the most
The
common
majority is like,
is like we put on weight, but
okay.
some people actually lose weight. So yeah.
So, and that can be from the metabolism slowing down,
Mhm.
maybe from you not changing your lifestyle or not realizing that I need to go out in the garden, I need to exercise daily, I need to eat within a certain window, my body is not functioning or metabolizing as it was before.
Mhm.
So you need to put intentional and deliberate effort in your daily living.
Okay. And then moving back to people that work in the office, for instance, how do you think employees can support employers rather can support women in general? Because we don't talk about it often, and we don't want women to be stigmatized. So, what do you think employers rather, can do to support women?
Yeah. Okay, so the plan, for this platform as well is to actually, I'm also trying to target the corporate organizations as well to educate them, so we would have like webinars, we would have workshops in offices where we teach, as in the senior level management, about menopause, talk about it, and let them know that these women are not, they're not the different words that they use to describe women when they're not in the right mood, but they're just going through a life stage. The other thing that I know, and the reason why I'm saying I'm taking this to corporate organizations, is that in places like the UK, for example, it has become such a major issue that some of the major companies in the UK wear badges on their names, on their image, or whatever, saying we're menopause friendly. So you have, maybe I'm just saying, using this as an example, I'm not saying they're doing it. Like, for example, a Cadbury would have Cadbury and then, have a badge beside their name saying we're menopause friendly. So because it has become that important for those organizations to be mindful of the life stage that these women are going through. Because indeed, women are staying longer in the workplace. They're older, so the organization should be able to know how to relate and how to react to these kinds of issues. And so that it doesn't become, because I know some women, when they feel like they're going through a symptom, like they don't think they can shake it, they call off work. And it shouldn't be like that.
Yeah.
Do you understand? You say, okay, I'm moody today, I'm this, and then you don't go to work.
Okay.
Do you see what I mean? So it's even affecting, what do they call that thing when you're working?
Like work life.
Right.
Productivity.
Exactly. Yeah, it's affecting productivity. Thank you. So these are some of the reasons. So we have a long way to go with this. I am planning to go, the distance, if I can put it that way, with it.
At
Yes.
least we're starting.
Yes,
Starting with
exactly.
your platform.
Right.
That's
it.
great. So moving back to you, you mentioned some of the things that women can do to help them go through that stage. But are there some what are the pros and cons rather, or some of the remedies for menopause? Or is there any disadvantages?
Okay, so let me start with maybe the symptoms so that people can recognize some things. Because as you said, from the workplace, so productivity, it could be that menopausal woman is going through memory loss, a bit of brain fog, because that comes with the territories. And
Does it pass though? Does it pass though?
if their nutrition is brought up to par, they start to, improve.
Yeah.
Yes. They may be more tired because, as we mentioned about the insomnia, not sleeping well at night, but by the daytime, that may be when the sleep is trying to creep on. It may also be that, as you mentioned with productivity, workplace, just having a listening ear, and for the men to be in that awareness the communication, how you're speaking to the person. Maybe the person may just need a hug or something, or maybe just a friendly smile to encourage them. So I think part of that, as the awareness and knowing that the mood swings may happen. Could it be that she has not eaten as yet, or maybe she just needs a bottle of water? Just small things like that. As far as the pros and cons of improvement of the symptoms, it would be definitely exercise. So having something in the workplace where you have gym
Exactly.
and you know, more aerobics class or whatever.
Yeah.
And then the diet and nutrition. So whether that woman is embracing intermittent fasting, which is just a pattern, a style of eating, not dieting, but a style of eating within a certain period. Ensuring that you're taking lots of vegetables, lots of water, fish, omega-3, things such as those. And then as your platform is introducing and helping to create that safe space, that safe haven for women, introducing them to the experts that can hold their hands and really help them through. Meantime, they have the support from our haven.
Okay. I have a question because I'm thinking of myself, and I'm sure there are other people that are like me. Is it possible to write it out? Because there's someone that will be very busy and they'll think to themselves, it's not a disease, it's a phase, so it will pass. So is it possible to go through this stage without doing anything deliberately and then have it pass by all? It's something that you really must pay attention to.
It's something to pay attention
Have to
to
do that.
because
Because-
it can catch you off guard.
Right.
And when it catches you off guard, for some women, they can become depressed.
Exactly.
They can hide. And then before you know it, you're wondering what's really happening. Menopause also has been said to predispose us to diabetes, to cancers. So it's like that awareness, not being busy and acting like what's going on in your body is not there. Because sweating will come if you're deficient or the estrogen level drops or the hormone changes. There's small phases that happen, but it's good for you to be like consistent and then understanding what's really going on, because it also sends women into a little panic. For they're going to the doctor like, oh my god, what is wrong with me?
Yeah.
And then even with intimacy and their husbands, if the husband doesn't understand, it can become a fight. They can start to dislike their husband in the relationship. Meantime, they were in love before. Now it's like, don't even look at me.
I was even talking to a friend of mine, and I was saying that's the time when the men in Nigeria, anyway, that I know, starts to say, "Look, I want a separate bedroom," because they can't understand what's going on anymore. So right now we have to. He's sleeping in another room, you're sleeping in another room, and and that's a major thing for a relationship where, like Shirish said, you guys were really close, you couldn't, be without each other, and then suddenly this starts to happen. And as you said, I mean, I have a younger friend who was telling me that her mom went into depression. I mean, I'm glad that because she was so scared, she didn't know what to do, and she couldn't talk freely with her dad about it because she felt maybe something that has happened to her, that was now different. I mean, that's how serious this thing is.
Yes. It can even make you have panic attacks.
Exactly.
All of a sudden, your heart is
Palpitation.
fluttering fast, and you're wondering. You now go to cardiologist. It's like a whole cascade if you're not tuned in and if you're not educated. So I'm really happy that Mrs. Aderoju has brought together this platform to educate women. I do want to say another thing is with the intimacy, the husband understanding. I mean, they may have to put a little bit more effort into foreplay and not just bam, bam, and that's it.
Right.
Yeah.
Even
just listening, cuddling, all of that can help the woman get over things. The dryness of the vagina, that's, people don't discuss bedroom stuff, but this is the reality of things. And they may need to get a lubricant. I do know that palm oil, and we have this product called Cold Palm. It actually helps to lubricate the whole system. I don't know if you've seen like on some, whether it's the Instagram pages or some adverts where they mix a certain like concoction. I want to say maybe it's honey and molasses and something, and it helps to lubricate
Mm.
the vaginal system. So there are things that are out there that will help enhance that bedroom so the woman doesn't have to be scared of dryness or, separating with the husband because of one thing or the
Yeah.
other.
Yeah.
Okay. So where do you
Yeah, because some people do it because of night sweats, so they're sweating at night, the husband can't touch them,
Yeah.
and it's just all of that, So yeah.
So my final question:
Mm.
where do you think, or where do you suggest women should start from? Those that are in that stage and those that are of the age but might not even know that they are at that stage,
Where do they start from?
as in terms of education.
Come to Mental Heaven. Exactly. That's it. This is why the platform is there. Come to Mental Haven. You get to hear about the things that you should expect and how to deal with them.
Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Because part of what we are going to have on the website is to be able, like I said at my introduction, to connect the women with the wellness experts. That's why Sharice is here, because like she's my number one wellness expert, and she will be on the platform so that people can say, look, I have something that is, even if when they have something that they cannot discuss, in the haven, we can connect them, to go for a consultation with her. And then, because again, these things are personal. It affects individuals individually. What the platform will give general, opinion and things like that. But some people will still need to see an expert. So, and that's why, we're doing that. So we're going to have people like Sharice, we're going to have like doctors and but we're not going to have people who are treating menopause as if it's a disease or
Right.
sickness, that they will now be giving them medication that's just going to make things worse.
Okay.
Do you understand? Supplements and things are fine, but when it comes to medication, you're not sick. It's not a disease.
Correct.
And
So
and is the platform virtual or physical? As in, will you be setting up a physical community or the support?
So it will be both. So the way it's going to be both virtual. It's mainly virtual. It's a femtech company. Yeah, it's a femtech. So most of the things that we're doing will be virtual, but we're going to have communities. Like, when Sharice and I were discussing, I said, look, they have a facility where they have exercise. So we could say, oh, ladies, let's meet at Carib Health this Saturday from 9 to 11. We do rumba dancing, we do yoga, do tiachi, these kinds of exercises. And we can take it to Carib this week, we can take it to High Fitness next week in terms of the exercise. They also, in their facility, have a nutritional thing where they bring chefs in who cook, with organic ingredients and cook healthy foods. We could say, oh, look, let's do dinner at Carib Health. So we will have physical gatherings.
Okay.
Because we also want to get to know each other so that we're able to share things better, basically. So that's what we're planning. That's what this will be about.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So
So I
thank
don't
you.
know whether you want to say something
I'm
about that.
excited. Yeah. And in our discussion, doing these different workshops just really helps to empower the woman, help them to off burden, unload, and know that everything's going to be okay. Our mothers went through it, our grandmothers went through it, and they're actually okay. Yeah.
And so even if you're very young and you think that you're not going to get there, you will.
You will get there.
Yes.
So it's been a pleasure talking to both of you. Thank you for sharing. And maybe you can plug in your social media handles so that people can reach you after this.
Oh, okay. So we're now on Facebook. We're on Instagram. We're on LinkedIn, and then we're on TikTok. And we plan to go on YouTube very, very soon. So that's it. It's
Mental Haven, just type
Mental Haven. Exactly.
Either of the
Just
platforms.
yes, on any of the platforms, just type Mental Haven, and it will take you to our site. Yes.
Yes, thank you. And our platform is Carib Health NG, both on Instagram and also on
LinkedIn, Twitter.
Facebook.
Yeah, we're on Facebook as well.
Yes, thank you very much. Thank you. Okay, so we have some questions from the audience and from people that follow Men of Heaven
Okay.
about menopause. So just 5 questions if you don't mind
No,
answering.
fine. No
Okay.
problem.
All right, so let me read them out. Okay, so the first question: I'm only 42 and my periods have gone crazy. Could I really be in menopause already?
It could be perimenopause, but then we would say, it's good to have a talk, see what's really going on. Are you stressed? Is it work? Is it home life? What's really going on? So that we can, find out where you are in this period.
Okay, because I guess some people have irregular menstruation sometimes, even when they're not
Right.
perimenopause. So.
Yes, and that's not normal.
Okay. And just to add something to that, I mean, that is why Sharice is on board with us, so that when people need tailor-made responses that are related only to them, they can basically link with Sharice to get that info, further educational information. Yeah.
The question 2. I snap at my kids and cry over small things. I don't even recognize myself. What's happening?
Wow. I mean, so many things. It could be hormonal. And as I said before, not knowing what's going on behind the scenes. Why is this happening? If it's hormonal, that hormonal issue needs to be balanced because, of course, the behavior is not normal. Yeah. Yeah. So sometimes we go through phases where we're agitated, we're irritated, and we know that that's not our baseline norm. We need to really figure out what that is. Yeah.
So they will need to speak to either you or the
wellness
wellness experts.
or GP.
Number 3. I used to sleep like a baby. Now I'm up at 3 a.m. every night. Help.
Yeah.
So that's what you said about insomnia.
Yeah. So lifestyle changes. So many things happen as we age, and then as IT is coming in our space as well. So there are times that you may go to bed late, you may be pressing your phone for hours, and just that blue light behind the phone can prevent you from your melatonin kicking in, which is your sleep hormone. So that could be an issue. It doesn't mean that because you can't sleep, you're in menopause. No, it just could mean that you need to change your lifestyle and pay attention to the bedtime routines.
Okay. So some people say you shouldn't even have your phone beside you when you're about to sleep. Is it because they don't want you to experience or be tempted to use your phone, or there's something about the phone even lying idle that could still affect your sleep?
Definitely the radiation, the radioactive waves, and then of course the blue light. So it should not be within your room. It can be outside your room plugged in, but not within the room. Yeah, it can disrupt your sleep cycle.
4th question. My partner doesn't understand what I'm going through. How do I explain this?
Definitely come to Menno Haven. So you can get some tips and guidance as to how your partner can be properly informed. Yeah, and that we can have discussions around it with the partner or so forth.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
Okay, and last question. I feel invisible. I miss the confident, energetic woman I used to be. How do I
handle this? So definitely come to Menno Haven. That's where all the conversations happen. It helps you to be empowered, you're informed, you're educated. And remember, this is just another phase of life. You're going to be excited about it, change your mindset, your outlook. So you're stepping in this with confidence so you can feel visible and of course love yourself. Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, let me just add to that, being in a community helps you. I mean, because now you know you're not alone, so you don't feel invisible. This is a community that encourages you and says, look, you're not alone. We are all going through this, so you don't feel like you're the weird one out. Those kinds of things that make people want to hide,
I feel like
and feel like they're invisible. So this is it. It's an empowering platform.
Yes.
It's a platform that it would encourage you. It's a platform where you feel like you belong to a community, and that's what we're trying to get here. I just have one question
Yes.
for Sherry. So, somebody we were talking, recently. Someone said, "Oh, you can use collagen." First, I don't even know what collagen is, but that helps when you're in
Have
menopause.
these symptoms.
Yes.
So collagen is like you know how you have your joints, you have your bones and so forth. All of this is also made from collagen.
Okay.
So of course things like your fish, your omega-3, all of this is dry and then blended down.
Okay.
And you can put it in your smoothies. It's just a powder.
Right.
So if you're taking collagen, for example, from they call it pommel, that bristly, grizzly part.
Right.
That's collagen.
Okay.
So of course, if this is grounded down and you put it into your smoothies or in your soups or in
Okay.
bone broth,
Okay.
that's a way of enhancing your calcium, enhancing the joints,
Okay.
and the collagen for the body. So it's keeping your bones stronger, which you need as you get older, because as you get older, a lot of your nutrients tend to go down.
Okay.
Yeah, so you have to make an effort to bring them up by exercising, eating right, sleeping right, drinking your water, and all of that just helps enhance your wellness.
Fantastic. So thank you very much again for taking the time to answer these 5 questions. You're good.
Yay. So, ladies, we're waiting for you. Join Meadow Haven. There's more. There's no more information to share. Thank you.
Thank you.